Welcome to Racine Kenosha Community Action Agency WIC program Teaching Kitchen. My name is Andrea. I'm a nutritionist at the WIC program, and I'm here with Jerry, who's going to be demonstrating making fruit pizza.
Doesn't that sound great? Like, who is going to say no to a pizza? This is what I love. I love many things about this recipe. One of them is it is at its base, it is a cereal treat, like a puffed rice treat. Did you grow up in a home where you cooked? Like when you were a kid, did your parents or your mother work with you in cooking?
My mother did not cook. My grandmother cooked, so I was the cook for the family actually.
So that's interesting. So I did not grow up in a house that cooked either. And one of the few memories I have of actually making something is using cereal to make those marshmallow treats. And I think that my interest in food has a lot to do with that early experience.
Definitely.
And it was something that is really safe to use kids with, because we have to be careful with chopping and a little bit of melting, but most of that, you're mixing it when you take it off the heat, a little bit safer. Great way to engage kids, and also just the fact that we call it a pizza. I think people focus on that word and not the fruit, and so you can move right into being something that's really appealing. Also, we're going to use corn flakes in the recipe today, but other cereals work pretty much almost identically the same. The other thing that's interesting, most time these recipes call for butter. We make a lot of cereal treats at my house, 6 boys. And so we have, over time figured out that I like to use oil instead of the butter. I believe it adds a little bit different flavor, and I think it makes the marshmallows stick in a different way and it's firmer. I dig it. So that's what we're going to use today. Also really versatile. So today we picked up some really great strawberries and some blackberries, but I've done it with pretty much any fruit you can think of. I think it's really cool with apple slices. Maybe not like the sweetest apple, but like a little bit more on the tart side, because then you got the cream cheese, maybe a little caramel sauce on it. So very versatile, and really excited to show you how to do this. It takes really little prep, but we are going to take these beautiful strawberries we've got, and very simply we're going to slice them thin. So take a teeny bit of the top off, and then my preference is to use as much of a flat surface as you can. I think that's the safest. Great cutting board, a non-stick cutting board. Great.
This one has rubber sides, so it doesn't roll around, but if you don't have one with rubber sides, a good trick is to wet a washcloth and wring it out so it's just damp, and then put that underneath the board so that it doesn't slide around on you.
Is there a place that you learned that trick?
I did. I learned that at culinary school.
I was gonna say, so that was one of the first things I learned at culinary school as well, was to do that, because in that case you had a bunch of people sometimes across from one another, and not only was it a risk for yours to slide, but it would slide into someone else's. Lots of stories about risk at culinary school. Anyway, so again, take your fingers, pull them inside so that they're not exposed to the blade of the knife.
And what would you think about maybe with your apple idea, Jerry? What about peanut butter mixed with the cream cheese for the sauce?
Okay, that sounds so good. Okay, I could totally do that. Just do one more of these to show how to slice them.
Peanut butter is a WIC-approved item, as are these lovely fruits.
So then we're going to go through and we're going to slice all the strawberries up, but you can see we want to keep them kind of the same width there, so that when we lay them out, it makes a nice, attractive fruit pizza.
Also, corn flakes, WIC approved. This is a 12-ounce box, so if you remember in your WIC booklet, you must buy a 12-ounce box or larger. And for the 36 ounces you get per month, it's recommended to buy either 3 12-ounce boxes or 2 18-ounce boxes, so you get the full use out of your benefits, so you don't have that 6 or 7 ounces floating around there that's just going to expire. What I like about this recipe too, Jerry, is, you know, 90%, believe it or not, 90% of adult women do not get their daily recommended amount of fiber. And if you look at this recipe, it's a delicious way to get fiber between your cereal and your fruit. Lots of fiber. Corn flakes also happens to be a great source of folic acid for, which, as you know, when you're pregnant, your doctor recommends make sure you're getting plenty of folic acid, which is even important before pregnancy.
I love your tip also about the cereal because I need a special pantry in my house for the 30 boxes of cereal that each have maybe a quarter of a cup of cereal left in it. I don't understand why people can't mix it together, but my family does know you got to do this. Yeah, literally a special room just for the cereal.
I'm not opposed to mixing my cereal together. That's something we do.
So I've already got the oil in the pan heated, and now I'm going to take the marshmallows. So this is a 10-ounce bag of mini marshmallows. Just going to add that correctly. You don't want this to be on really, really high heat, so I've got it on pretty low right now. Just going to stir it up, and you can see that it's already starting to melt. So we're going to melt the marshmallows, and then we're going to add the cereal, and we're using corn flakes, to it.
6 cups are measured out right here.
Yeah. And then mix it all up, and then as soon as you mix it together, it's ready to go into the pizza pan so that you can form it. You have to be careful when you stir this because when you stir it, you get this mound, and what you want is for the marshmallows to be more evenly distributed so they melt quicker. So we're gonna just push that down. A couple more minutes because you can tell that it's getting really, and this is a nice non-stick pan, which is great, but it means they're not sticking, and so it's nice and smooth really quickly, which is great. And you can see it's got that really nice smooth, like those are already melted. That was probably less than 3 minutes that it took to melt those. And then if you don't mind, just dump that cereal right in. I'm gonna stir as it's coming in. Thing where you kind of have to have a little bit of elbow grease put into it, because it does get thick kind of quick. Pretty much mixed, about as good as we're gonna do. As you can see, it kind of forms into this little ball. So we're gonna just turn this out onto the pizza pan. Thank you. And then working from the center, I'm just gonna push out. You just try to move it out, make sure you get as much coverage on there as you can. As soon as it comes off the heat, it's gonna start to solidify up pretty quickly. So we want to work really quick. So that looks pretty good to me. So I'm gonna set this aside, and then we'll get the cream cheese together, and we'll get ready to assemble this. So this is going to be the what would be like a sauce for the pizza, but it's going to be this cream cheese mixture. And I've got 8 ounces of whipped cream cheese. The cream cheese block, but it's already whipped up and softened. And so I've got that. I'm going to add a 1/3 cup of sugar that's already in here. And then I'm just going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla, a little bit extra flavor. Stir that all together, and then this is going to get spread out. So now we've got the crust, and we let it sit for just a few minutes so you can tell that it's nice and firm. And then we're going to take the cream cheese mixture that smells really, really good. Go ahead and put that all out. Pretty much everything we've done after we took this off the heat would be a great thing to use your kits for. Then, so we've got all these great strawberries. So let's use those. You want to help? I think you can put them on any kind of pattern you want. I'm going to start just at the back, just kind of layer them around that way. I'm going to do, I think, maybe 2 rings of strawberries. And then just do blackberries around the inside. Voila. And then that way we're going to let this chilled for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, I think, to let the cream cheese mixture firm up. And then after that, you're gonna be able to literally slice it like you would a pizza, and you can serve it in wedges. I like doing it on the pizza pan, but if you have to do it in a 9x13 or something like that, works just as fine. Cuts great. Great snack for like after school, you kid. And you're working some fruit into their diet too, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna put that in the fridge and let it firm up, and then we'll see what it looks like as a slice. So, I had that in the fridge for about 20 minutes to let it chill up. You can certainly let it go longer than that, but it should be okay now to cut into. So if I had a pizza cutter, I could use that. You can also just use a knife. So here, crunch. I'll try to cut to get the fruit. I like it right there. And
First slice is always the
always the hard one, but oh my goodness, there we go. So serve it up just like a pizza. Great for the kids, and I'm actually going to take a bite if you don't mind. See, help yourself.
I will.
I like the New York folded technique, so I'm going to do that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, the great amount of sweetness. You can still get the crunch of the cereal in there. I think kids would eat that. See what you think of it.
I think
Holds together really nicely. Some of those great dishes that looks like you put a lot more effort into it than you really did. So great to take to that. Yeah, right? The cream cheese stuff is really good. Well, awesome. I'm glad we were able to make this today. Hope you try it at home and hope your kids love it.